Hello students, welcome to Mesology. I'm uploading the second biology paper which is mostly based on the animal physiology. What you've got to do is take a pen and a paper and start writing the answers to the questions given on that paper. Do not refer to the book because otherwise it will not help you in finding out how much of preparation is still needed to score the optimum marks. After you take around 40 minutes to write these questions, which has 40 different subparts, you can indeed refer to the answers and find out your score, because each question is just of a single mark, and accordingly the errors that you make, you can also judge out that which chapters still need a second round of thorough revision. So what are you waiting for? Let's get started. Hello, students. If you have already completed writing the answers to the questions given, now it's time for you to tally it with the answers provided to you. So let's get started. Question number one with the 10 subparts given against it. The answer to the first one will be basophil. That is the WBC with the least count. The second is abnormal increase in the RBCs. This condition is called polycythemia. The third one is the discoverer of the ABO blood group, that is Karl Landsteiner. It is essential that you write the name of the scientist with the correct spelling. Then the covering of the heart, this is called pericardium. Then the blood vessel without any muscular layer or with just a single layer of cell. That single layer is called endothelium, but the blood vessel is capillary. Then you have the structure containing both glomerulus and Bowman's capsule. This is called the Malpighian capsule. Here again, the spelling is important. So Malpi, then Ghian, Malpighian capsule. The next answer is proximal convoluted tubule. For your knowledge, you may know 60% of water or more of it is reabsorbed in this PCT itself. Then the answer of the pigment which imparts color to the urine is urochrome. Then blood with urine, we call the condition to be hematuria. And finally, the structure in the kidney is called the papilla. We move on to question number 2. Here we are given certain structures for which we have to write their functional activity. So glomerulus, you will pull an arrow and just write ultrafiltration of blood. Only ultrafiltration is not a marking point. Once you write ultrafiltration of blood, it becomes a perfect answer. The next is Acini cells. These Acini cells secrete pancreatic juice, because they are the exocrine cells in the pancreas. You don't have to mention so much. You just have to mention it secretes pancreatic juice, or you may even write alternately that they secrete enzymes in the pancreas. The third one is the chordae tendineae. This chordae tendineae, they ensure that the flaps in the valves are in their secured places and they don't overturn onto the auricles. Then it is the CSF, or what we call the cerebrospinal fluid. This acts as a shock absorber and prevents any kind of mechanical injury to the brain. Then it comes to the thalamus. The thalamus in the brain is the receptor for pain and pressure. So, this is all that is required for the functional activity. You may write as small as possible, but try to find that it is a word or verb in the functional activity. Next, it comes to question number 2, part B, where you got to find the odd term and mention the category for the rest. It is always wise to write the answers to such questions in a tabulated form, where towards your left you just mention the odd term, and then towards your right against that odd term you mention the category for the rest terms which you have not picked up. So in the first case, the odd term is gray matter and the remaining ones are meninges, or you may write the membranes covering the brain. Meninges would be the best answer just in one word, but if you forget in that time, you may even opt to write the membranous coverings of the brain. That would be okay. The second, the odd term is axon, and the rest of them are parts of the cyton of a neuron, or just you write the parts of cyton. That will be okay. The third one is where you have walking, which is the odd term, because this is a voluntary action. The rest of them fall under simple reflexes. Then we move on to subpart D, ADH, the antidiuretic hormone, that is the odd term, and the rest of them are all secretions from the anterior pituitary. The last one is the gamma cells, while the rest of them are the endocrine cells found in the islets of Langerhans. You may pull it out to islets of Langerhans of pituitary, or just even if you write up to islets of Langerhans, it will be a perfect answer. The next question that we move on to is writing the differences. Writing differences, two things have to be remembered. They should always be written in a tabulated form, and the differences should be compatible differences. But here in this question, you already mentioned the point against which you have to give the difference. So here you don't have to give a thought as such. So the first one is monarch, and you got to mention the age. You may write 12 to 13 years of age, or even a bigger range, because it varies from one individual to other. As long as you write the range from 8 to 15, it won't be incorrect. But the average is 12 or 13 years of age. Then comes to menopause. For menopause, this may also show a range from 45 to 50 years. The next part is definition of gestation and implantation. Gestation is the time period from fertilization to parturition, where the embryo grows in the womb of the mother. And the next one is implantation. Implantation is the encryptment of the embryo on the endometrial wall of the uterus. Even if you don't mention endometrial wall, you just mention on the wall of the uterus, it would be a correct answer. Then it comes to color blindness. The reason is a genetic disorder, and for night blindness, it is due to the deficiency of vitamin A. Or just write a deficiency disease for night blindness and a genetic disorder for color blindness. That's perfect. Then it comes to presbyopia and astigmatism. Presbyopia is caused, can be corrected by using convex lenses, whereas astigmatism, it requires a cylindrical lens. Next is corpus callosum. This connects the two cerebral hemispheres, whereas vermis, this is a connector for the cerebellar hemispheres. Then we have the question on reasoning, that is the medicines dropped in the eye. You can feel the taste in your throat. This is via the nasolacrimal duct, which mixes it into the lacrimal secretion, and that can be felt even in the throat when it moves via the nasal duct. The next is why three different ossicles and not a single bone in the ear. The three different ossicles help in liver mechanism, helping in the efficient amplification of sound, making sound more clearly audible. The third part is the hypothalamus is the ultimate control center. This is because the hypothalamus controls the pituitary via the feedback mechanism. The pituitary in turn controls the secretions of all other glands. The next is, why does an alcoholic walk clumsily? The alcoholic gets his cerebellum affected by the consumption of alcohol, and this cerebellum, who controls and coordinates the different muscular movements, that gets disturbed. The following is deficient but more efficient. This is, you got to mention two things which the RBC is deficient, that is nucleus. It lacks a nucleus. And second, you may mention that it also lacks the mitochondria. And the lack of nucleus increases the surface area for the absorption of oxygen, and the lack of mitochondria, that reduces the consumption of oxygen by the RBC itself. So it makes it more efficient for the work to be done for the other cells in the body. The next question, that is question number 4, subpart A, there are 5 different parts in it. The first one is cretinism, that is the, abnormal hyposecretion of thyroxine in a child. That leads to cretinism. Next is the GH, that is when it is oversecreted in a adult. This leads to acromegaly. Then it comes to the hyposecretion of insulin, which produces the disease called diabetes mellitus. The next is the accumulation of uric acid in the joints. This is called gout, G-O-U-T. Then the last one is infection in the conjunctiva. This is called conjunctivitis. The last part of question number 4 is the pattern which is getting included this year, the new pattern of questions in the paper of biology. That is a statement followed by a reasoning, and you have 4 options there. When both the statement and reasoning are correct, the option is A. When accordingly we have B, C and D. So you got to read the options in front of you, and then you got to find out if they are correct or incorrect. For these type of questions, the statement and the reasonings will tend to appear almost correct, because there'll just be one word which will be mostly changed. That is why until and unless you read the statement over and over again, just don't read it once and think that you are giving a perfect answer. Read it once, read it twice, and then by the third time you take a conclusive decision that you have checked every word in the sentence. Then you judge out whether the option should be A, B, C, or D. For the first one, you are given in the statement and the reasoning, that is the your lungs is one of the lungs is higher than the other. And why? This is because the liver takes that place. So both the statement and the reasons are correct. So the option would be A. The next one, the statement and the reasons which are given to you, you have to see which is correct and which is not, and accordingly the answer that comes is option C. Then you look at the third statement with the reason given to you, you will find that the first statement and the second statement, when you tally them, you get the option is D here. Again, the fourth one, both the statement and the reason are perfect. That is why it will again be option A. And finally, when you have the fifth statement coming with the reasoning, the correct option would be B. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. And before I move out of this session, let me tell you, if you are finding that these kind of check your progress, papers are helping you in your preparation, then please do write your comments if you want more of them and you want them to be emphasized on which chapters. Finally, I have thought of coming with 10 different sets of question papers, and some of them will be the subjective type. Now I'm following up on the objective type itself, but indeed I'll be coming with the rest as well. But your comments and your requirements are more valid for summarizing on what kind of questions I need to supply you with the perfect answers against them. Thank you once again.